Welcome to Connecting Greeks, a streaming comedy show and podcast designed to explore and enhance Greek culture around the world. Join hosts Angelo, Adi, and Foti as they bring you fun and interesting guests from all walks of Greek life. Grab a cafedaki and join us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Connecting Greeks podcast, the podcast that brings interesting, fun, cool, amazing Greeks from all over the world together. We learn a little bit more about them, our similarities, what makes us Greek, what makes us tick. We just get into the nitty-gritty of it. And I want to thank you all for joining us. With me, as always, is my co-host, Foti Stamos. Hello, Foti.
Yasu Ari.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Nice weather. How's it in your part? I'm in D.C. right now. Foti's in Boston.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to the official start of summer. Weather is great. Our spirits are high. And, you know, as we just mentioned with Angela earlier, you know, we're getting back to some normalcy, if that's the word you use.
Yeah, I mean, when you say the word normal, I think of Angelo immediately. So
Yes.
Let's bring Angelo on all the way from L.A. Angela Tsaroukas, everyone.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are
You know,
you?
I love the enthusiasm, Forty. I think you won a $10 million lottery ticket. Did you win, Forty? Yeah, I won. It was pretty good. Good lottery ticket.
He's like, you know what? He's like the old
I'm gonna go to
droopy
Greece.
dog. Remember the old droopy dog?
He's like Droopy Dog, right? He's all a Droopy Dog.
That's me.
Well, I'm happy. Look, I don't know what it's doing in Washington or Boston, but I know what I hear. It's 107 degrees in LA today. It's
Yeah, you guys got a
107
little bit of a heat warning or something.
heat wave, but we have no humidity, which is good.
Oh, that's
There's no humidity, but it's not doing anything good for my hair. My hair is all over the place here, and I'm not cutting it, and I'll get to it. But I'm very, very happy about today's guest.
Yes.
So I'm going to introduce everybody on our show, Connecting Greeks. Really happy I get to work with her on a regular basis on her show called the Dora Papoutsakis show on the Agape network,
Yep.
which a lot of people know, and it's been taken off. It's doing so great. She's an awesome host. She's a friend. She's a mom. She does a lot, and I'm so impressed with her. And I thought, if we're going to connect Greeks, she is definitely one we're going to connect. So welcome to the Connecting Greek show, Dora Papoutsakis. Welcome, Dora.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, guys. Wow. That was a great welcome. Thanks, Ange.
And well-deserved, Dora. Welcome. We're, doing Connecting Greeks, we try to do, like you do in your show, and that's what I like about it. The boys are good about opening it up and keeping a fluid format. And today I'm at my friend Russell's house. So I was saying earlier, there's rappers and gangsters and PVR. There's all kinds of stuff going on here, and actors and dogs are running around here. And I had to come here afterwards. But the thing is, I want people to know about your show, because Dora, you're in Vancouver, one of my fave cities in Canada. You're a mom. You're married.
Yeah.
Say that because nowadays you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And how is it? I mean, and you juggle a lot, man. Because I did something with you earlier, and you said, "Angela, I gotta go get my son from school." That's although that's a mom thing, that's such a Greek mom thing to do, right? It's like
totally. I said to you, it's actually embarrassing because he's 13, but I'm like, to pedi, gotta go get the pedi, right?
I gotta go get the PV. But I respect that, and I think even our listeners and everybody, our viewers who watch this, it's funny because when you're with Greeks, these things are understood. Like you can go to a Greek's house and the couple will start fighting. Nobody bats an eye because everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Completely.
Like, it's
and that's what happens when my husband is on the show with me, right?
when he comes on, and it's funny.
Exactly.
What's funny to me about that is that it's a trait that we have, and that it's not like I was at a house once and my friend was there in Toronto. And I think it was Nick and Katarina, and they were going at it in the kitchen about something. I don't know what it was. My friend was just, they're fighting. Should we leave? I go, no, we haven't eaten yet. What do you mean we're going to leave?
Completely.
And he goes, well, I don't know. I said, nah, they're not really fighting. They're just Greek. They're going to fight. And then, cut all of this. I think there's so many, and this is something I want to explore today with all of you, is that there's so many of those isms that we have as Greeks that honestly I don't think a lot of the world don't have. Like when something gets done, I'll give an example, and I want you guys to all jump in on this. I was in Las Vegas, okay, and I wanted to go to Smith & Wollensky Steakhouse. The guy goes, you're not going to get in, But I found out the guy had come to the show was the maitre d' at Smith & Wollensky in Las Vegas Boulevard. He was come by, and don't worry, look for me. I'll take care of you. So, okay. So I go there, and I'm with these producers and stuff. After the show, we go and walk. There's people waiting in the front, Have you been to Smith & Wollensky? People waiting in the front. I walk right through, like the Fed du Coste. I walk right through, and I see the guy goes, hey, waves at me. I go over and I go, so the guys are behind me. I go to him in Greek, and I left off. So he's looking. Now, at the same time, I had $50 in my hand. I had a $50 bill because this is a big favor now. This is a 3-week wait. And then he goes, so he goes, so I go, Grant, because Ulysses Grant is the guy on the 50. Hold on, let me check. And I put my hand over the thing, and I put the pinadarico right there. He puts his finger on it, and he drags it down. He goes, Mr. Grant, I see your reservations.
Oh, nice.
Picks it up. So now these guys behind me are wondering what's going on. They gave us the best table, and there's appetizers on the house. But you got to take care of these guys. Now, the guy's telling me, Ange, how did you do this? Now, I didn't tell him right away. So I wanted to play it up like I'm a maga, right? But then later, we're sitting at the table, and then the guy comes over and he goes in Greek. He goes, "Ola daxi and daxiola miachara," and then the other guy, Jewish, goes, "Fucking Greek, fucking knew it. He's fucking Greek." I go, "Hey, Malaka, you got in. We're eating. Is there a problem here?" He goes, "No, but I couldn't understand." I go, "See, you didn't understand because." The Greek
it's all who you know.
Greek.
Yeah, it's all who you know.
Has this happened to you, Dora? Has this happened to you?
Oh my gosh, it's happened to me in like the funniest, most embarrassing way. And it was actually in Greece. I went to Ethnic Trapeza, right? I was younger. I was much younger, probably in my early 20s, from Canada, just really pretty naive and stuff, not knowing the ways of the Greeks. And I'd met some guy, right, at a bar, with a group of friends, and he's a nice guy, whatever. Anyways, I go into the bank, I take my ticket. There's like 100 people in front of me. This is before, I'm dating myself, before ATMs and all that kind of stuff. And he sees me from across, and he does the little wave over, right? Ella. And I was like, oh shit, what the hell is this? So I go over, Ella, Ticanis, this and that. What do you need? Withdrawal, deposit, whatever. There was a yaya right behind me. She friggin' gave it to me, man. She gave it to me. I was like horrified. But yeah, it was like he gave me the little wave over because he knew me. He was like, hey, come on over.
Well, look, Dora, you're a hot babe. And Greek guys have a weakness for it. And Yaya can just wait at and it's so true because, and look, I've done it myself. You know what? I was in Edmonton, and the club sold out in Edmonton, and then these two hot Greek girls come up to me and go, "Hi, Angelo, we're big fans of yours, and we can't get tickets." "Oh no. Oh, keep going there. Angela, come in with me." And they were smoking. They're much younger, obviously, but still. And I brought them in, and the doorman's looking at me. Go, no, these are my nieces. They came and hung out. I said, look, come and hang out in the green room, have a drink or something. And all the other comics are looking around. And then eventually, of course, we found a couple of seats for them. And then I put them there. But I think it was just funny because I was just I was stroking my ego a little bit. But they came up to me and they were like, I can't remember their names, but they're really cute, and they said, we're Greek, and that's all I needed to hear, man. And I think for any Greek guy, you're going to have that happen sometime. The guy goes, why you just walk them in? I go, would you not walk in? Bring these girls in. It's in our code, right?
Angelo,
what do you think?
Let me flip the script a little bit on all of us here. So, Ari and I have been running so many Greek events over the last 20 years.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Catering to Greeks, right?
Ugh.
So how about taking that approach where every Greek now is going to use the same strategy that you just mentioned at the same time with us, trying to get into our events, where they're pulling everything.
Trying to get into the Angelo show when we brought Angelo to Boston.
Remember that in Boston? It was sold out. Yeah.
So then that becomes a fiasco, because now you're trying to pick and choose which story sounds better and who you're going to let in. Everyone is connected.
True.
Everyone's connected to somebody.
That's true.
And they're dropping names, and they're dropping not money, because Greeks with Greeks don't drop money, but
it depends how strong you are there, Fonty.
Right. That's right. But again, the dynamic changes when it's actually Greeks on Greeks, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Completely.
But no,
well, this happened in Chicago, where the doorman comes up to meet the improv. How many fucking cousins do you have? I go, what? He goes, that cousin. Everybody's your cousin. I go, it's a metaphor that we use. It's kind of like a metaphor. And then, but I find even I'll give an example. I was in Melbourne, Australia, and my shows were sold out there at the Greek Center in Melbourne. Now, of course, in Greek fashion, they didn't buy tickets and they waited. Now, in Australia, I would walk from my hotel across the street to go to the venue. Now, there's no other way to the venue but through the front door. So all the there's multiple shows going on. My show was at, let's say, 8:00 on a Friday. So this Greek couple grabbed me right away. Hey, Saruka, gee, we were all our friends were at the show. We're trying to go to the show, and we can't get tickets. Can you help us? Now they put me on the spot, and I'm the kind of guy that I'm going to try. Now the thing there is that the ticket, I have no connection to the tickets because it's all through the festival, right?
Right.
So they're all Aussies. They're all Aussies that run it. So all the Greeks were lined up for my show. So about 300. The venue holds about 300 people. They're all lined up. Hey, how's it going? I'm being nice. I go to the front with this couple, and I said, look, hi, I'm Angelo. Because we know who you are. I said, these people are friends of mine. They're looking for 2 tickets. Is there a way to get 2 tickets for the show? And you see the guy was frustrated. All the Greeks have been running up to him, right? Prior to when I got there.
I'm sure.
He was like, let me check. So he checked. He goes, no, we got 1 ticket for next Wednesday show. We got 1 ticket. So he turns around and he says loud, he goes, okay, listen up, people. All people for Angelo Tsaruka's show. There are no tickets, and I don't care if you're related to him or not. And he yelled it out right now. Inside, I felt good. I'm like, sold out. And then this is the best part. He goes, I go, and if he says it in Greek, I go, I tried. Tutuipa. And he said, you know what the guy said to him after? And he goes, he was one of those stern Aussies, very gay, but very easy. He was the boss. He goes, only reason Angelo's going to be at his show is because he's on stage performing. In other words, he's saying to him, he can't get in. So the guy, they look defeated. Now, I know, but here's the funny part. I tried, but I know exactly what happened. All their friends bought tickets, but the husband was a maga. And then, of course, they did it. So then he thinks I can help him, that word meso. The difference was, though, I didn't control it. And most times, like that time at Smith and Walensky, I knew the guy at the restaurant. Sometimes have you been in a situation where you have accessibility and your friends, your kubati, your cousins don't? Has that ever happened to any of you guys?
Plenty of times.
Yeah, it's happened to us too, for sure. I find in Vancouver, I don't know about you guys, but I find in Vancouver when we're putting on events or people are putting on events, they have to wait and see Pure buy before they buy the tickets. And that's so annoying when you're putting on an event. When you're putting on an event, it's like, come on, guys, can you just get the tickets? They're like, I got to see who's going. Let me see. Hold on. I got to call my cousins, my friends. And it's like a group. Like what? Like, what's the problem here? You have to go in a group.
Guys, I'm gonna solve your Greek problems right now very simply. Every single event you do, everything that has to do with Greek people, you set aside 20, 30, 40 tickets right off the bat, and right at the night of the show, every time somebody comes up to you, calls you, whatever, you're like, oh, it's going to be really hard. I don't know, but let me see what I can do. And boom, you got your tickets set up every time.
That's good advice.
I think that's the
That's pretty good, actually.
We're assigning Ari to operations.
Ari in Boston. So Dora, let's talk about your show for a second, because what I do, guys, I've been a guest on Dora's show, and we do a segment called Ask Ange. Dora thinks highly enough of me, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah, I've seen
and we give out advice. I don't know if you see it. We give out advice on it,
Yeah, we're solving the world's problems 1 week at a time.
We're solving the world's problem 1 week at a time.
Oh, we lost Ange.
Problem solved.
He didn't solve that problem.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Do we just keep going without him?
Don't worry, I'm going to edit the show anyway, so don't worry.
Don't edit this. Don't edit this. This is good. Leave it.
Oh my God, hilarious.
This is the blooper.
Okay. This is for the blooper reel.
With Angelo, we always have a blooper reel.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
One time he was on his porch, on his balcony, and he got yelled at by his neighbor. And I think that was like the funniest 2 minutes of video that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
He has videos with millions of views, and I think that was the funniest of all of them.
Oh, I would love to see that. I got to find that one.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. Don't worry. He's coming in right now.
Okay, I screwed up here.
I like how you said we're solving the world's problems, and then you blanked out.
Well, what happened was I pressed that button. I don't know how these little blockias work. I pressed that little button here. I thought it would minimize.
Don't press it again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to press it again. No, I thought, which one is it for the volume? And no, I'm not. This way,
Don't bother.
Ari's the technical whiz. So we were talking about your show, Dora. What made you? You're such a natural at what you do, and I know you juggle a big schedule. You're renovating your kitchen. You're picking up your kids from school. You're working.
I have a full-time job outside of radio.
You're married to a Greek, which means you're married to the family, and you do your show, which has been so much fun. Tell us, because a lot of people, I think, may want to hear how you got involved in this, and not just that. Sure. You're with all the work. They always say if you want something done, give it to a person who's busy. And I know you're busy.
True.
Because other people have time. How did it come about?
There's different kinds of people, right? There's the ones that are like, oh, I'm busy, I can. And then there's the ones that just do, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know why I'm that kind of person or how I became that kind of person. But, my story with radio started a really long time ago. So when I was graduating high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to get into some sort of journalism. Originally, I talked about journalism. Right. At the time, papers. I was really good at writing, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do newspaper, if I was going to do TV. And I applied to the program here in Vancouver, and I didn't get in. I didn't have a lot of experience. I came from a super sheltered, Greek family where I wasn't really allowed to do much. So experience was really low on my resume. I didn't have a lot going on. So I didn't get in, and then I kind of went to university, did something random, worked a little bit part-time. And then I met a girl who worked and did the radio program here in Vancouver. under, I don't know if you remember Angelo, we used to call him Minerva, right?
Yeah, I do know Minerva. Sure.
Yeah, Mike Georgiopoulos, he ran the broadcasting of the radio here in Vancouver, and I met her. And it was super cool, and she brought me in as like a co-host at the time. I was probably like 18. And that's where I started. I kind of started just having fun with her and being, a little sidekick to her. And after I got a little bit of experience, then I applied to the program, and that's how I got in. Fast forward to the end of the program, looking for a job, and they're telling me, if you want a job, you need to start, you're not going to start in Vancouver. You need to go to some small town in freaking Saskatchewan and start. If you want to get, there's seniority here. You're not just going to walk into a big market. And meanwhile, I had met Niko. We were engaged, about to get married. He had already worked in the company he worked for over a decade. So he was like, it doesn't work for me to leave. So I kind of like abandoned it. And I sort of just continued doing the Greek program at Minerva's. And I did that for like 17 years. I was the main host. The other girl left. Yeah, we had you on a couple of times, and I know when George was doing some shows here, and we brought you on. So and then that finished, because radio, as you all know, is kind of a dying thing, and it finished about a decade ago, and I didn't really give it a second thought. I work for the federal government. I've been working there for almost 20 years, just waiting to get the pension. And no, I enjoy what I do there. I do enjoy what I do there, but yeah, it wasn't like my passion. Like radio's always been my passion. And then one day I just got this random Facebook message from this man named Stan Papoutsakis, right? And I look at the name. Yeah, Stan's amazing. But at the time, I'm like, first of all, Papoutsakis, I did not recognize it at all as being Greek. I wasn't sure what it was. So I declined it, as most people do when you get a message that says, hey, do you want to talk? I'd like to talk to you. I was like, no, thanks. Decline.
Hey,
right?
Meet me in a dark alley somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And then I declined it. And then he messages me again with a little bit more information. And he's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to host a radio program out of Vancouver. I have Agape Greek radio. Give me a call. So then I was like, okay. I'm intrigued, right? So I gave him a call, and it's amazing. This amazing producer of Agape Greek Radio, and he really was selling it to me. He really wanted somebody out west. The majority of his shows centered around Toronto at the time. Now there are many more shows. There's one out of New York. There's one out of Australia. But at the time it was mostly out of Toronto. And he goes, I really want somebody out west. What do you think? And that's how I kind of got into it just about a year and a half ago. And it's been amazing. It's been a lot of learning, because it's internet radio, right? So I had to now download programs like Audacity and, all these programs that I wasn't familiar with, and learn them and kind of get back into it. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I've enjoyed it so much.
So Dora, let me ask you, so this is internet radio. Have you guys kind of, because you mentioned before how internet's like a dying breed, but podcast
radio.
I mean, internet radio's a dying breed, but podcasting is all the rage now, especially with the pandemic and everybody was kind of locked in. Are you guys doing the internet radio and podcasting? Have you transitioned? Are you just staying with the internet radio?
We're definitely transitioning. If you go on the Agape radio page, the weekly shows have been uploaded as podcasts. We're a little bit I'm a little bit behind. Again, being sort of a not-for-profit, it's hard. Like I do my own social media, I do my own, uploading of the podcast, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of get short on time. So I'm a little bit behind, but we are slowly transitioning. And I know Stan has always got like plans and ideas. I'm not sure what he's got on the go, but
So you guys.
Oh, sorry. There's somebody drilling upstairs in case you hear noise.
Okay.
Sorry.
That happens with the live stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you so you guys have a live schedule where you do live, and then you upload.
Yeah, so basically we record once a week. So I record once a week, usually on Thursdays, and then I put together my show, and Stan puts together my show for me, and then it'll air the whole next week on the Agape schedule. So my show, for example, airs every day, 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific, and it'll air for an entire week, and then the week after there'll be a new show, and that show will be uploaded as a podcast.
So if somebody's not there at the specific time, kind of like old school radio would be, they could still hear it. So you kind of have that element of the old school radio, but you also have the element of the modern internet podcasting type of.
Exactly. And it being not live, it is actually so much easier because you could do stuff like Ask Ange. You know, I get Ange to come on. You know, we're supposed, you know, it sounds like we're doing it week by week, but today we sat and we did 5 questions in a row, and, you know, I save them and then I'll do them at some point. And the same with interviews, like I can stockpile them and save them and segments. And, you know, if I go over time, I'll just, you know, put it over to the next week. And so it's actually a lot easier than radio used to be. Yeah. And of course you can edit, which is amazing.
Like when one of your hosts shuts off the video.
Accidentally presses end.
We can edit that out.
We should call it the Not Podcast. I'm clicking it.
Yeah,
you know, it's funny. It's funny that Dora said Stan Papoutsakis. I've known Stan for over 23 years.
Oh, wow.
And Stan was the executive director of Diversity Rogers Television Canada in Toronto, ran it all. And he's moved to Edmonton. He was with City TV. And I actually have Stan as our next guest because he just made a movie called Highway 13.
Yes! That's amazing.
Yeah, he did a Highway 13 horror film, a short film. It's killing it.
Oh, cool.
He won in Hong Kong and Germany, and so I want to get him on to talk. I mean, I've been very close. Stan's a very close friend. I've been, you know, I did a thing called Fat Boy Food Review at Omni Television that was being shown because what they want. It's funny that Dora said that they had a Greek show in Toronto, Bouzoukia, okay. And when I was living in Toronto, they knew I was a comic, so they go, "We want to do a cooking segment." But I was a bachelor at the time. I don't want to cook. So to get out of it, I went with Stan and Susie Soros, who's executive director of Rogers TV Canada. I said, I got this idea. What? I go visit restaurants with a couple of hot chicks, and we get the recipes from the chef, and we make
hot chicks. Hot
chicks. I don't know if they do it. I don't think they can do it now. It's very important. So at the time, so it was called Fat Boy Food Review, and the girls were called the Serviettes.
Oh my God! Ange, come on!
I swear to God, this is. I'm talking now 17 years ago.
Yeah,
wow!
But the shows were fun. But here's the deal: the shows were fun. And the girls were in on the joke.
Yeah.
It was never like they weren't objectified. The girls knew I was a comic, and the slogan was "Thin is in, but fat's where it's at." The girls come in and say that stuff. And we did 70 of these. So I told them, as an example, Dora, to not do it. I said, this is so stupid that we're not going to do this. And then they turned around and they go, that's a great idea. Let's give it a try. I'm like, really? Yeah, why not? So we ended up doing it. And then I proposed to the other lady in the network, true story. I went to Madeline Zane, head of the network. She goes, we're getting a lot of, I got this idea that I go around Canada. Okay. I swear to God, I go around Canada visiting drive-ins, diners and stuff.
Oh my God.
and we get recipes and we go around Canada. And the other malaka, not Stan, the other guy there he goes a show about driving around Canada and getting recipes from restaurants and sharing them.
God.
He goes, who's going to watch it? Who's going to watch it?
Like everyone.
And then this show with Guy Fieri came out called Drivers Dine and Dives, whatever. And then I'm like,
yeah.
I ran into that guy about 3 years ago, and he looked at me and goes, he goes, I go, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you, Dora, because we're making so many cross comparisons, the nice thing about this, although it's more work on you, and I know Adi does a lot of the same stuff that you're doing, and Forty has a great wine company that it's, forgive me, Forty, I forgot the name of the brand.
Greek Wine Club.
Yes, I saw it on you. Yeah, you saw it on YouTube.
Yes, and Forty's like a sommelier. He's a master at this. And the guys I've known Forty and Adi for over 20 years. And they said, hey, Andrew, we're doing this thing, and why don't we bring you in and do this? And because I got a lot of friends and a lot we can bring them, but the guys they know, and I like this synergy. Even what we're doing right now, a little cross promo is good because I love your show. I've done all the other ones. There's the other Dora in Toronto, and then Calgary. It's I
don't think she's doing a show anymore. The one in Calgary.
Not anymore. She was really nice too, And then I find that the synergy of doing all these kind of shows is good, And I think the thing is that there is more responsibility and work especially for you and even for Adi, because you got to do editing and stuff like that. Yeah, but the good reward about it, and this is where the Greek part comes in. Although it's part of a network, you're doing it for yourself. Because the one thing I've learned about Greek is that we can work together, but you're not the fucking boss of me. And that's a Greek, right?
Angela, when I brought George as a co-host, because of course in radio it's always, and you guys know this from your podcast, there's always a lot more energy when you bring somebody on to banter with you, right? So I brought on George, and he's so much fun, even though he's taking a hiatus right now. But anyways, and he's been dying for a year. He was like dying to get the name changed. He's like, what is the Dora Papoutsakis show? He's like, where's my name? My name's, no. I said, listen, back off. Let's make one thing clear. This is my show and you're here as a co-host. Maybe that's why he took a hiatus.
We love George.
We love George. He's awesome. But it's what you say. Right. It's what you say, and when you love, oh my God, please don't. Oh my God, is that who I think? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's my husband. Ange, it's my husband. It's Russell Peters. I say that's my husband because my husband got cornered on a plane from New York to Vancouver, and some guy came up to him and was like, oh my God, are you Russell Peters?
That's hilarious. Only on Connecting Greeks can you get one of the biggest comedians in the world to pop his head and say hi to you.
I'm like starstruck and
in the nose.
Lots of words here.
Russell knows more Greek than you think. Trust me. What's funny? There's that clip of Russell. In other words, that is here. There's a clip of Russell with people in the audience who are Greek, and she has a Pakistani boyfriend. I don't know if you've seen it, and it's gone viral. I told Russell, I haven't seen it, and it's hilarious because he's got the whole thing. If you look on the internet, I think Greek Gateway.
I'll find it.
Find it. It's really, really funny. I'm at a million other.
My gosh, I totally lost my train of thought now. I'm all starstruck.
We were talking about.
What were we talking about?
You were talking about. Dora's all starstruck now, Russell. You pop your head and she doesn't know what to say.
Russell Peters! Oh my God! Okay, So where were we?
So we were talking. You were talking about your show and the branding of your show, and how George wanted to make it the George Vasila show.
Yeah, he was trying, and I told him to back off. But yeah, you're right. That Greeks, like, you know, when we do things for ourselves, and obviously when you do something that you love, and one of the most common compliments I would say that I get when I've finished an interview or finished a segment is always, "Oh my God, that was so easy. It was so like." It was just a conversation. And I think you have to have that in you when you're doing something like this, in that it can't be really scripted, you know, like it can be scripted to a point, but you just have to let the conversation flow and catch something that somebody says and build on that. And, you know, the humor and just laughing and making it real, because the audience can always tell when it's not real. Oh, yeah, when it's 100%. When it's forced, 100%. Right? So as long as you kind of have that in you.
Let me ask you: have you ever had a guest on? Normally, that's not talkative, and you're trying to get them engaged, and they're like one word answers. Yeah.
Yes, and I'll tell you offline, because you're gonna be surprised. It was actually somebody.
We don't need names.
I shouldn't say it because I haven't had that many people on, and he might put two and two together. But I'll tell you offline. And I was very surprised because it was somebody in the entertainment industry.
Fati, I'd hate to break it to you, but they're talking about you.
Well, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Because we had Kostas Mandalore on.
I saw.
Kostas was like, you know, that scene from Apocalypse Now, where he's sitting in all dark. I
think he was talking in his sleep. I think
he was talking dark. You know,
half asleep, half high.
He really, you know, he's from Australia. He was, you know, one of People Magazine's 50 most beautiful people. He was married to a Bond girl, but he's an interesting cat. Like, he's really.
So he wasn't talkative. I haven't heard podcast yet, but
he was talkative. Like, at first I thought, I don't know. He's an actor, and man, he's pro-Greek, He was walking around Athens talking to statues and shit. Like, he's right up there, right? And I love him. I think he's really so fascinating.
It's really hard when somebody's not talking, though. And it hasn't happened to me often. It happened to me that one time. And then I had one person who talked too much and was actually like super aggressive. Like if I asked a question like in a wrong way that they didn't like the tone, like they got all aggressive on me. So that was kind of weird.
So basically your non-talkative guest was like Fati, and your aggressively talkative guest was me after a few drinks.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
That's funny.
My gosh.
But what were you going to say, Fati?
Ari beat me to the punchline.
The whole thing?
Fati, I got to say, he's got the best voice. Fati's got the best voice for radio. He's got that.
He's got that
deep,
dark voice.
He's got the deep voice.
Imagine Dora, Fati in Athens, Dora, acusate to Vasili Kara. I
call him later. When I can't sleep, I call him. I'm like, just talk to me.
No, Fati, don't listen. You got a great voice. I'm going to get you to do some promos for me.
You got it.
I'm going to get you to do listening to the best 2 hours on radio. Dora Papoutsakis. Can you just do it real quick for me? Just do something like
quick.
Repeat that one more time, because I was like not paying.
He's got the attention span of a fucking goldfish.
Just say like the best show on Agape Greek radio, the Dora Papoutsakis show.
The best Greek radio show with Dora Papoutsakis.
There you go.
That's good.
I'm sorry. Good. You don't want somebody that's a cross of Ray Romano and Kermit the Frog like me? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there could be
I love Ray Romano.
I don't know what's going on here.
What happened?
No, but you see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, it's interesting to me because this is, I think now our generation and your generation, I mean, I think what's happening now, we're starting to realize that we've come to a point now that we're starting to maybe come. There's always been that myth that, if you want Greeks, if one opens a restaurant, 5 open a restaurant. Right? That was the old myth, and that they wouldn't really support each other. I think I've seen it a little differently. I've seen it kind of change around a little bit.
I think so too.
I
think so too. I find the people on Agape Greek Radio super supportive. Like there's never been any competition, between shows. Like if I ever need somebody on or if they need somebody, like we're always sort of cross promoting.
It's very good.
And I think it's a changing generation out there too. I don't know. I mean,
could be. Now let me ask you this, because now there's more. I've noticed as a comic, and there's more Greek comics, and that's great. There's a few, well, not that many of us. And now I've noticed that even some of the memes coming out, people send them to me, going, "Have you seen this?" I go, "I wrote it." So it's coming back. And, oh yeah, I thought so. Are you sure? I wrote it 20 years ago.
Oh my God, no way!
And now it's a meme, which is fine. I mean, some things. I mean, if you're Greek or Italian or Jewish, there's only so many themes you're going to go on.
Yeah,
which is good. Now the Pappas post and Greg Pappas. There's another guest. Greg said he'd come on, but he's busy, and I got Stan got busy. I got all these. So I got Greg Pappas, Stan Papoutsakis, Billy Zane, and Michael Chiklis are supposed to be my next 4 guests.
Oh wow! And I'm in the mix with these people. Holy moly!
In the mixer, and this has been awesome so far because you're awesome. What do you think about what happened? I want to ask you guys this because I read in the Pappas post and I subscribe to the Pappas post, and everybody listening here should, because I think it's a great source for Greek news. And I'm not because I'm good friends with Greg Pappas. I'm just saying I really like the way they lay it out, kind of like the Huffington Post. So Nike shoes. I don't know if you guys heard this.
Yeah.
They made a shoe honoring the goddess of Nike. Then on the back of the shoe, and what they thought was Greek, they wrote the word. It's supposed to say Nike. Nike is Niki. Niki. But they wrote something called Pix.
They wrote Peaks. Peaks.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Do you think that's like? Do you think that like how? I don't understand. If you Google Nike in Greek letters, it comes out like. I don't understand.
I'll tell you right now what I think. From having a past in corporate, they had, it goes down the line. A great idea from the top goes down the line, and some kid, some intern, some whatever, just trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know how it passed to actually become something, but somebody there like really screwed up. And that's like the total cultural misappropriation of people who don't know anything trying to be,
And they're Ari, they're starting a cultural misappropriation thing. There's a woman doing it about, screwing up the Greek language. Now you're talking Nike, one of the biggest brands in the world, multi-billion dollar corporation. You're trying to tell me that these Malakas didn't research it properly.
That is unacceptable. You know what else is unacceptable? And me and Niko talked about this on our show. Yeah, like, the Nike thing. Also, why are all the COVID variants suddenly named after the Greek alphabet?
Delta.
Yeah, I know.
Alpha, beta, gamma, and delta are the 4 variants. That is unacceptable. Do something, guys.
It is, but maybe because we invented the alphabet, and because
that's all.
But yeah, the Nike thing, I don't know what happened. Totally unacceptable. Somebody's got to get fired over that.
That's ridiculous.
Now, are those shoes? They're going to stop making them, and they're going to become collectors, and they're going to be worth a mint because of that. But what do you think? Do you think Nike? So that's what I'm saying, though. Because we have a network. We have Connecting Greeks. We have Dora Papoutsakis show. We have Pappas Post. We have this is creating a voice people don't realize that even the little things that we're all doing, all of us do a little bit, this adds up to something. It keeps a voice going for a small population of the world.
Absolutely.
There's only guys in the world. In the world, there's 25 million Greeks soaking wet in the world, all with Greece. So the fact that a brand like Greece or Nike, and I think it's good that You can go ahead, honey. Don't worry. We have kids here now. What do you want, baby? You want to talk to mom? Mom's right here. It's okay. That's okay. It's a Greek family podcast there. The skilo, the
Adi's like, damn it, I have to do more editing now.
I'm marking all the points here.
My Cubano Russell comes out, this and I'm like, yes. But the thing is this though. What I see is that we all have jobs to do, but we're all pitching. And really, I give the credit to Forti and Adi on this one, because they were like, hey, we were thinking of doing something, but we wanted to, expand it, and we think you'd be good, Ange, and even from time to time now, and that's, when I thought of this show, and I thought of Dora, and I thought, because it's something, it's nice that maybe your audience may listen to this, but we want our audience to listen to you. And there's no winner or loser in it, and I've always had that idea that if everybody tries just a little bit, then I was told once, when it rains for everybody, right? And I think sometimes when it rains for everybody. So I think it's kind of like it's an idea. We still got a lot of work to do on it, but at the same time, I like the idea that we're promoting this. Look at recently the two tennis stars that went to the finals for the first time.
Yes,
from Greece.
Yes.
So you have, and you see what they did. It was Novak Djokovic beat, and Tsitsipas an hour before the match started got news. I don't know if you know that his grandmother died.
Oh,
and he still went and did it. So, I mean, he was very close to his
I didn't know that.
The guy mentally is going to play the biggest. Yeah, nobody knew this.
Wow.
He was gonna play the biggest match of his life, the finals. And an hour before, they tell him his grandmother. It's going to affect you. And he won the first two sets.
Yeah, but you also have to think he's 22 years old. Like
22 years old.
Is just starting. Like
that guy.
Wait till he's 26. Wait till he's 28.
Going to kill it.
Wait till he's 30. He's going to destroy.
This guy's going to be the next. And the Greek girl also. They're like from Greece. There's two of them, and I think I've noticed in all social media, all the ones like Greek Parea, My Parea. There's a whole bunch of them. Greek United, Greek
Your
Gateway,
Parea.
which were my favorite. Your Parea,
Parea.
all the great ones. One Greece is another good one. There's a lot of good ones, and they're all jumping on that.
But I think
this is good.
I do think that you're right, Ange. Now, I don't know how it happens in other parts of the world, but I do see a lot of collaboration with Greek Americans, and especially lately in Greek Canadians. Like you see all these companies and they cross promote each other, whether it's people who are doing clothing lines or housewares, or, everybody's doing the mati thing and the jewelry and the bakers and everybody's kind of like cross promoting each other. And I think the American something foundation also did like the top 20 Greek Americans of the year.
American Hellenic Foundation. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're moving into a different time. I feel like I'm kind of in between generations because, I shouldn't say my age, but I'm,
You're younger.
You're much younger than us.
I don't know if I'm necessarily younger than you guys.
You're 29. You're 29.
Forti is 72 years old. So don't worry, you're not older than him.
Who's your statistician? Whoa, you look great. But anyways, I'm just joking. I don't care about saying my age. Being in my mid-40s, I totally believe that, the older generation was very different. Even when they were business people, they didn't, the next restaurant was the competitor. The next, radio station was the competitor. It was always competing against each other.
Right.
But I think we're moving into a place of, let's help each other.
Yeah. We need to because there's a timeline of where the Greek culture ends, because you have 1, 2, 3 generations, there might not be any Greeks around. So we
totally
need to get together.
Thank you. And Adi, that's exactly the point I was making. And by doing this, people, like Dora said, she went, look there. And when you guys asked me, I have the Funny Greek podcast that we were doing in LA. It was called Smoking and Joking. They wouldn't let us do it. Then they said, we called it the Sit Down. There's too many named the same. And then we got the Connecting Greeks. And I said, yeah, let's do this and bring in different guests and different people to cross promote it, and
support.
Yeah.
Even other, and as you know, we have a lot of people on our show from Canada. Being a Canadian, and the guys know this. So we had Maria Diamandis and Dimitri Ilias. They're masters of music. They'd be great guests, and they've been awarded. And we did a whole thing with them. And they have a program for kids to learn music, and they're in Montreal. And we had George Safonidis on. George.
And I'm interviewing George. I'm interviewing George this week.
And George, as a result of here's the funny part. And I give Connecting Greeks all the credit for this. I've known George for years. He works at Statistics Canada. He's a civil servant in Ottawa. He works at Stats Canada. And I said, George, does anybody know your story in Greece? And he's like, he goes, what do you mean? I go, does anybody know your story about how you go to China, perform for 200 million people on TV, play the bouzoukia, and it's Chinese people dancing Greek? They didn't know it. And I knew this. So we brought George on our show, and George played, you can watch the episode. And as a result of being on our show, he's been featured in every television show in Greece. He's being asked. He called me. He goes, I can't thank you guys enough. Ever since I came on Connecting Greeks, I've been contacted by Ed, Antenna, Alpha. He's doing interviews.
That's I don't know if you guys.
And he gives us credit. I go, George, you don't have to give us credit. No. I'm giving you guys the credit because if it wasn't for you, nobody cared that I did it. But I found it interesting. And I even gave shit to the Greeks in Greece because and I said to them, I said, you have this soap opera star, Adonis something, like, shut the fuck up, right? I mean, you're an actor.
Or Survivor. How long were they obsessed over Survivor? I'm like, oh my God, guys, Survivor's been around for 30 years. Let's get over it.
But Dora, and you're gonna interview George. The fact that, and I said to him, I said, George, I can't believe they haven't interviewed you in Greece.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He goes, he never thought of it. This guy went on TV. And it's a great story, the Olympics and this and that. He performed for 250 million. 250 million people saw him on TV. He played the bouzoukia, singing Italian, singing in Chinese, and the Kinesi are all dancing. I mean,
amazing.
The amazing.
I love it.
Now he's Greek. He's Greek from Canada. He's Greek, and George. I think he's always been eccentric. But the idea that from Greece, that one guy, this little guy, can go to China and accomplish this is mind blowing. The problem is
amazing.
But you see, we don't talk about these stories enough. And that's what we do. What we do, all of us, what we do is important. We all have life, but I think that is important. And now George's been featured on every television show in Greece. And they made a documentary about him in Canada on CBC. And I've known him for years. He does this ouzo power. He has a band. But when he sings, he was singing for us in Chinese, in Mandarin, I should say Mandarin. And dang, and the Kinesi are dancing. They're dressed up like in soleadas and they're dancing around. I'm like,
I love it.
Colonizing the world. So that's why I dig it. I try to get guests like you, Dora,
Yeah.
And I'll shoot them over, and I try to get guests on the show. And then I've had a few. I can't say their names. They're cautious. They're weary about coming on because they may think, we don't have. I gotcha. Can't do that with Greek.
Yeah,
No.
People get all bent out of shape and offended, and yeah, you can't do that. But on the show, I'm really appreciative of you sending George my way, and I actually have, gone through all your guys' podcasts on Spotify, and I've got some people I want to interview because, the first year of the Dora Papoutsakis show, we've had amazing guests, right? We've had, politicians and actors and singers and, everything. I featured small businesses in Vancouver to try to promote them. I've also done like philanthropic things. Like we raised $25,000 for the earthquake in Samos, that just happened about 6 months ago. So we've done amazing things. We have, but, I just wanted to focus on what you guys are doing too. And I've created a new segment, and it only started last week. And this week, George is going to be on. And that's what it's about. It's about like, how can we inspire each other? Let's bring stories to the table where we can inspire each other that, something that George is going to say or somebody's going to say is going to light something in somebody else. And maybe they don't want to be a statistician, is that how you say it? At Stats Canada.
Statistician, yes, Stats Canada.
Right? Or they wanted to follow their dream, but they just don't have the courage to, or they just needed that little spark. So that's what I'm trying to do now. This is my new focus.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, one of the best interviewers in the world, and he's a very close friend of mine, is George Georgiopoulos.
Yes.
And he's a big fan. George said he'll come on our show.
George, I hope so. He'd be awesome.
George doesn't speak Greek. His dad's Egyptian Greek, and his mom's Ukrainian. And he didn't necessarily have the greatest, relationship with his father, but his Yaya and Papu were there. So it's he is the master of it, And I go to him, George, you come on the show. He goes, yeah, I'll come on. He's hosting Apple World Radio. And another one, but the problem with George is you start interviewing him, and then before you know it, he's interviewing you. Yeah. Tom Cruise said it, Keanu Reeves said it, Bill Clinton said it. He said that this guy, he really is the master. And I learned a lot. It's
a little unnerving. It is a little unnerving when you're used to the one hosting or interviewing, and then the tables are turned. I was a wreck. I've been a wreck all day. I was like, what are they going to ask? What are we going to talk about? What do they want to know? What am I going to say?
Man, you've said that, Dora, the thing I like about you, and I think Ari and Forty see it, is your radiance. I can see why people want to listen to your show, and you make people feel at home. You make them feel comfortable. You're not scared to ask questions. And I think that's why we were talking about this. You in your own right are a force. And I think it's good that we're able to put this all together, And,
yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
And, and Adi and Forty, if the three of us start talking, one's going to fall asleep. They say, I love these guys making jokes. They know I make jokes with them all the time, and they're like, whatever. But
I don't believe that.
We've gone over an hour, if you can believe it. And it feels like 50 minutes. Yeah, we've gone over an hour. And guys, I think what we're going to do with Dora, I think we're going to, every 7 or 8 episodes, we got to bring her back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And talk to her again, right? I think that's great.
Yes. Recurring guest.
Like Nomi Key Konst, who's a friend of mine. She's on the Fox contributor, and I'm trying to get her on the show. So I want you to come in as a contributor from the Dora Papoutsakis show, Dora.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
But you're definitely going to come back, Dora, because it just went by so fast. It wasn't good.
Oh,
but before you go,
guys. Okay.
But before you go, we have a thing that I'm going to hand it over to Forty, and Forty has some questions to ask you, and then Ari brings it home. So we have a little system that we do. I don't want to mix it up.
All right. Okay. I'm scared.
No, don't be scared. No.
Well, Dora, this has been a treat for me specifically, an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you. Foti.
I'm super excited to have you back sooner than later, as Ange had mentioned. But as we always do with all of our guests, we want to get to know you a little better as a Greek Canadian.
Okay.
So you did mention, both of your parents Greek?
Yes.
Yes. Are you first generation?
Yes, I am.
And where are your roots in Greece?
Both my parents are from the beautiful island of Samos.
Oh.
Nice.
Samniotisa.
There's a song.
Samiotis are beautiful.
So, Dora, I'm sure you grew up with a lot of great Greek cooking at home, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you tell us, Dora, your favorite and least favorite Greek food?
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Okay. So my most favorite Greek food of all time, but there's a caveat, of course, because there's always a caveat. So my favorite food is pastitsio. Okay.
Nice.
Pastitsio is number one, but it's gotta be the bechamel cannot be stingy.
Oh.
There's nothing worse than a stingy bechamel pastitsio. It's got to have like a good 1-inch layer of the bechamel on top, right? And then that's my favorite. Typical woman has to complicate things, right? My least favorite is, do you guys know trachana?
Yes.
Yeah, I like trachana.
Oh, nasty.
Flour.
Nasty.
Not giblets.
Nasty.
Trachana.
It's got to be that.
Okay.
Nobody makes that anymore, trachana, do they?
Thank God. Oh my God.
No,
that's the first one, guys. That's the first trachana.
Right. I can't tell you the last time I had it, but yeah, you're right. I hear about it.
Probably a week ago.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I know, me too, buddy.
It sounds like a Boney M song. There's a brown girl in the rain. Trachana.
Sounds like you were in the doghouse this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys kill me.
Moving on. We all had our unique experiences with our parents. We've had different characters in our households. The Greek dad, the Greek mom. Any sayings or from your parents that have still stuck with you growing up that you can share with us? Any Greek sayings that your parents would actually pound or embed into your brain?
Yes, for sure. A couple of them. My husband is he's such a thunder stealer, this guy. Get the hell out of here.
Get lost, Nick. We're talking to Dora.
We're not talking to you. You want me to say, Δείξε μου τους φίλους σου, να σου πω ποια είσαι. My mom used to say that to me all the time.
I love that.
Show me your face. But she also used to say, the first thing that came to mind was, τα μάτια σου 14. Every time I would leave the house, τα μάτια σου 14.
Why was it only 14? Why not 18, 22?
We gotta find out. There's got to be a new.
Why? Because Greeks are extreme, and you have two eyes. So at first it's Matesera, but the Greeks took it to the next level. So
Zumi, come here.
Make sure you have 14 eyes so you can see everything going on around you.
Yeah.
And if you take your youngest sibling with you, τα μάτια σου 100.
Wow.
Oh, so true.
Right.
So true.
That's true. That's the upgrade.
Yeah.
My mom also used to say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. That's why I never introduced her to Foti.
And I say the same thing, Adi, to my kids. When my daughter, every so often, she's hanging out with somebody, I was like, I throw it out there and she just gives me the look. She's like, whatever.
That's funny.
Keep it alive.
Awesome. And Dora, last question for you.
Ooh, okay.
As Greeks, we're very animated and we're very dramatic, but we're also superstitious. Any superstition that you still live by that you can remember as growing up as a Greek Canadian or Greek?
First thing that comes to mind that's superstitious, that's done annually, is everybody has to enter the house on New Year's Day with their right foot.
Yes, bravo.
Yeah, I'm not a very superstitious person. Like I wear the mati just for like fashion. I'm not too superstitious, but on New Year's Day, I'm like, metodiksi.
So you don't get headaches when someone compliments you?
No.
Okay.
Maybe nobody's complimenting me, Foti.
I doubt that.
You're very beautiful, Dora.
Right.
Oh, see, I'm fishing for compliments here.
You don't have to fish hard in this group.
You're
Thanks,
the rose in a group of
does your husband
here.
know how to do the mati just in case?
I don't know. My father-in-law does the mati. Okay. My son, I think they say people with light eyes catch it easier. My son has light eyes and he does get the mati quite frequently.
Ange, I got an idea. We should do a segment where you can do the mati for guests that can call in.
That's a little fucked up. You know what? Here's the deal. It's a very, very controversial thing because I read Plitzania and I do the Xematiazon. But I got to tell you guys, I do all that shit. It's a long story, and I don't advertise it now. I guess I just did. But the thing is that it's we'll talk about it. It's something that either people believe it or don't believe it, right? And it's anyway, we'll talk about it.
Okay,
excellent.
Yeah, but I've read cups for people in LA and they get their pants.
I love it. All right. We won't go into any more details until further notice.
Further notice.
Dora, we need you to plug whatever you're doing. Give us a little plug, and then we're also going to share it within the video and podcast too. But give us a plug. How can people contact you, find you, listen to you?
Awesome. Thank you, you guys. So you can listen to the Dora Papoutsakis show on Agape Greek Radio. It's agapegreekradio.com. You can also download the app. It's called the iTalk Radio app, ITOC. And that's the app where you can listen to Agape Greek Radio. And you can contact me directly on Facebook at the Dora Papoutsakis show or on Instagram at Dora Papoutsakis _Agape Radio.
Awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
We want to thank you so much for being with us. We want to thank you for taking the time to hang out with us. And now that you know Foti, hopefully you'll come back.
I love Foti.
He'll do some sound clips for you. So that's a good thing.
Awesome.
We want to thank Dora so much for being with us. We want to thank everybody out there for watching, listening, constantly being with us, making the show what it is. Thank you so much. I want to thank my co-host, Foti Stamos. I want to thank Angelo Tsarouchas, the man, the legend. And as always, thank you again, Dora, for being with us. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.